Hey there, my friend Perry Tinsley here, and welcome to another Power Blast podcast where we provide nourishment for the soul, allowing you to transform from the inside out, providing you rapid results in mindset and fitness so that you can recharge that mental and physical battery of yours and reclaim your power. And I've got some exciting news today. I've got a special guest. Her name is Leanne Monaghan. She's a gym owner. She's a cancer survivor, and I will get into a bigger, more in-depth introduction on her in just a little bit, but you are in for a treat today. You're going to have some incredible takeaways as she drops some simple tips to have your healthiest year yet, empowering ways to express gratitude and serve others, and a powerful formula so that you can achieve every one of your goals, not only this year, but every year after. And she gives you some simple tips for health prevention. We do many, many things on this show, so let's get right to that interview. Hey there, my friends. I have a great guest on today, Leanne Monaghan. Registered, I'm going to see if I can get all this right. Mom, registered massage therapist, personal trainer, rock star, awesome lady, owns her own gym in, is it Acton, Ontario? I get that right?
You got it.
Which is maybe about an hour outside of Toronto. I Googled that. It's not like I knew that. But your own gym, I mean, you offer classes, yoga, personal training, obviously the massage therapy. There's probably more things you can share. And when I was going through Leanne's website, it had her listed as boss lady and fearless leader, which I thought fearless for sure, because, and I'm sure she's going to share this today, she's defeated cancer-free since 2003. We were just talking about 2003, a memorable year for both of us. Mentored by the late great Bob Proctor, who has done so many amazing things. And I just want to welcome you to the Power Blast podcast here, Leanne. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Perry. I am just so privileged and honored to be a guest here today. I mean, I just love your energy. You're just so fun and upbeat and positive. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, making the most of life. That's it. That's what we do. We've give nourishment for the soul on this podcast. So that's really awesome stuff. I do want to dig into your story, and probably just a little mini taster background how Leanne and I met. It's not like we've known each other a real long time, but we were both in a business mentoring group that for the past, I would say maybe 6 months, 7 months. And we were revolutionizing our career to turn it into a purpose and our passion. And I think both of us had that. We were just looking at how can we serve more. And so we met in this group. I would hear Leanne sharing lots of times on these Zoom calls and these trainings. I was like, man, I got to meet this lady. So a couple weeks ago, we met and found some really unique commonalities that wanted to definitely share. But Leanne, why don't we just start with your story? You were just showing me something, so maybe you start there. I don't know. I mean, what is your story, and how did you get to where what it is that you're doing now with your health and fitness stuff, the mindset coaching, and all those things?
Oh, okay. Well, we'll start with being a single mom, right? I had come through an interesting divorce, and I decided that I would go back to school. I was 40 years old in that age group, and I was going to be a massage therapist. And here's the funny thing, I had never even had a massage before in my life.
No way.
Yes way. Yes way. The funny thing is that before massage therapy, I actually worked with horses. I did a lot of rehab with race horses. So I thought, I don't know, I'm already in the healing arts anyway. So why don't I just make a decision? And yeah, that's how I got into massage therapy school. And through that course of being in massage therapy school, there was, a lot of financial struggle in that time. And um, things happen, right? Well, Perry, you and I are both of the same mindset, and I know all your listeners are too. Thoughts become things, and they manifest in your body.
Mhm.
And I, partway through school, was diagnosed with cervical cancer, and it, it was a little bit of a shock, but not a shock. Um, the good thing is that I was in the right place at the right time. I mean, we were getting massage twice a week. We were learning about hydrotherapy. So that's using water as therapy, like contrast bathing, cold showers, soaking your feet in hot water, cold water, and all the effects that it would have on the body. We were doing castor oil treatments. So I was with a great community of people, and we just started to work on Leanne because I wasn't able to get in. Well, that's not true. The doctor wanted me in right away, but I couldn't because I was on a student loan. You can't just drop out of school. You have to keep going to school because that was one of the criteria to get this student loan. And I remember the doctor being so angry with me because I'm like, no, 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 we'll just do it in the summer holidays. Like, don't worry about it. It's slow growing, it's been there. You told me for 10 years. So you know what? Like, calm down.
What's the
Go
sense of
heal.
urgency? I'm doing this thing. We'll get to it. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. And that's was the so at that point, number one, I started to visualize. Thankfully, I was in, massage therapy school. So anatomy is very important part of what we do. I was able to visualize healthy tissue, me in my vibrant health, me enjoying my two boys, me enjoying my granddaughter who hadn't been born yet, but she is now, but visualizing all of that health that was abundant and it was ahead of me. And
Can I ask, was that part, as you were going through that, was that all part of because of your training in massage therapy, or had there been something prior to that that you were just, I'm just thinking of myself going, gosh, I don't know that I probably would have been like, oh my gosh, I got to get in, you know.
oh,
Yeah. So that's interesting. So
thank you. That's a great question. Because it just came to me intuitively.
it
I
just did. Okay.
never really, you know, I don't not what do you in Bob's world, Bob Proctor's world,
Mm-hmm.
I would have been considered an unconscious competent.
Ah.
I just knew it. And I started to every morning, I started a new ritual. I would be up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I would do some study and I would visualize healthy tissue or myself in vibrant health or whatever it was that all was connected to health and vitality. And that's when I started to do Pilates. It was, the big DVDs.
Ah. Yeah.
I still have them. I should have brought them to show you. And
Are we
that's when
talking about the big laser disc DVDs or like the regular size DVDs?
no, the big ones.
Oh, the big. Oh, wow. That
The
is a time
big,
back.
like, cassette ones, right?
Yeah.
They came in a 4 pack and I would pop, I had four and I would just rotate between these four. And that was Mari Windsor
Uh,
back in the day, right? And that's how I would start my day. And through learning about hydrotherapy and self care, I started to implement two things. So, for your listeners,
mhm.
two things that are going to be very pivotal to your health that I would highly recommend that you add in as part of your healthcare routine. Number one was dry brushing.
Mm.
I dry brush every single day, or at least I should say 98 to 99% of the time. Dry brushes, you can get them at any health food store or um, in Canada, it's called Shoppers Drug Mart or, some sort of pharmaceutical store, or you can order them online. There's two that I have, a smaller one that is a softer bristle, and you just you put it on your hand like a horse brush. And then there's a longer one for your back. It's a little bit harder of a bristle. And the other thing is, the other tip is to end your nice warm shower on a quick cold shower. And so here in Canada today, I think it's like -10. So on the colder days, I will just do armpit, and the groin area. This is where the lymphatics are located, right? They're more towards the middle of your body. And the idea behind that is you constrict the lymphatic nodes, and then they have to work to open up again. So you and I are in the fitness industry, so it's that we're creating a pump here, right? And so every day I am training my lymphatic system. And then the dry brushing also is another way to help with the lymphatic system. You don't want to go too rough, but so that's what I decided to do. I thought, okay, all right, I know I've got this condition. How am I going to support myself? Number one, visualization. Number two, with gentle exercise at that time. And then number three, your lymphatic is your second immune system. So how can I support that? And that's one of the things. And I still do it 20 years later. I have never stopped. And this is one of the synergies between you and I, Perry, is we both know very famous Ann Louise Gittleman.
Yes. Yes.
That was your wife.
That was yeah. Hillary. I had not heard of her, but when Hillary and I started talking, and just early on, she was talking about this book that she had, and she's a lady that she had just been following for years. Ann Louise.
And at that time, as I had told you before, I didn't have like 2 pennies to rub together. So I didn't have a book, but there in Canada here, in our health food stores, there's a free magazine, and it's called Alive magazine, and you could pick that up. So I would pick it up every time I would go into the health food store to pick something up. And I still have the magazine 20 years later. So here it is. And it's April 2003. And again, another commonality between Perry and I, that this was my pivotal month and year, as it was yours.
It was. We just learned that just a little bit ago. That's incredible. That's so awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. We were in another lifetime together. I'm sure of it.
Yes.
Absolutely. And this was the 2-page article. So it's called The Flush Fat Away. Mm-hmm. And Ann Louise had submitted this article to this magazine, and I followed it to a T for 2 weeks. It's basically, it's a diet of elimination, right? Alcohol, caffeine, dairy, gluten, all of corn, all of the foods that cause inflammation in the body. And you're drinking a lot of cranberry juice too with this the Fat Flush plan. It supports the liver and it supports the lymphatics. And again, 2 important pathways whenever you're a woman who's facing cervical cancer and you're deciding that you're going to prolong the procedure 6 months because you're in school and a single mom. And that changed the trajectory of my life completely. After 2 weeks, my vision got better. I had more clear thinking, just so many, released 7 pounds. It's not that the weight was an important thing for me, but it was just a side effect. And I really learned what foods triggered my body. And so the thing is that what I want to share to your listeners is that you can do this on your own. Like if you don't have a lot of money, like I didn't have a lot of money at that time, there's so many resources, right, Perry? Like you can you can do this on your own if you have that willpower and that desire that this is something that I want. Like I had a burning desire that I wanted to be around for my kids. I wanted to be around for my granddaughter. So that burning desire took over me. And then when that happens, the desire or the goal, as we would say, starts to drive you. And when it drives you, that's when things start to magnetize to you, right? Like Perry and I were both like, feeling is the secret. Yeah. Right. So feeling is the secret that sets up the law of attraction. So because of that, I was studying all the time. I would be bringing my kids to hockey, and a lady who was the manager of the hockey team saw that I was reading the fat flush, and I was always drinking this cranberry juice. And she said, "So is that Ann Louise Gittleman? Is that the fat flush?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And she said, "Oh my gosh, I did that too." And from that simple little conversation, that little, you just never know, right? That little intersection, a year later, we opened up this gym. So that was 19, well, it was 20 years ago that we would have had that conversation because it took us a year to find the building. And we've been in business for 19 years. And
congrats.
So, here's a girl that didn't even, one weekend, I'll never forget it. I didn't know how I was going to put food on the table for my two kids. And then now here I am, and I'm in my beautiful office in my gym. And then we changed it into a clinic whenever COVID happened so that I could, be essential in Canada. So gyms were closed, but I could still be open.
Yeah.
So you just never know. You never know.
Yeah. Isn't that something? A lot of times, and I thank you so much for sharing that story. I just love hearing stories like that where you don't necessarily know how. You take action on something and then it pulls you in a certain direction, and you're going for it for what seems like it's the one reason, and these other opportunities come about, or at least appear, and whether you decide to act on them or not, but obviously you did. You had a little conversation, and then that leads to a gym opening, which leads to helping others transform.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that it was interesting to hear you say, when you got the diagnosis, it wasn't, a lot of times when people get, a diagnosis like that, there's like fear, worry, all these things that can almost seem paralyzing in a way, I would guess. Yet you chose to be proactive in a much different way. Isn't that something?
Well, in all fairness, I mean, of all the cancers, it's the slowest growing one.
Okay.
And so just so that I'm just going to go into my reasoning mind here and just share a little bit. And when I asked the gynecologist, because whenever you see it on the camera, right, and it shows up on the TV screen, like I could see it, it looked like a head of rotten cauliflower. I'll never forget it. And I said, "Man, that looks pretty big." I said, "How long has that been there?" And he said, "Oh, probably, I don't know, 10 years. And I said, "How can that happen?" Because I was regular with getting, pap tests done. Mm-hmm. And he said, "It's like fishing. Sometimes, fish get through the net." And anyway, but it got caught at the right time.
Yeah. Wow. Well, it kind of sends chills down my spine for seeing where this journey is going, has gone. So how have the last night, what's that like, having your own gym, and what have you learned, and what is that not only maybe done for your career, but what have you seen the transformation with your students and the clients that come through?
Oh, because I was given such a gift, mm-hmm, with this beautiful woman named Nancy, we together decided, and everything I do, I really dedicate to her generosity and kindness that she bestowed upon me, is that we always give back to the community. Mm. over the years, I've done, we have a beautiful park here surrounded by water and beautiful trees, and there's a big band shell, and I'll hold, it's called Yoga in the Park. And it's a community event where if you can donate food for the food bank, or some people give cash donations, and then I'll donate that to the backpack program. So kids that don't have all the supplies to go back to school, it just breaks my heart. And I'll do a lot of things like that whenever in the hurricanes came through in the fall, like Newfoundland in our country was quite devastated, and my husband is from Newfoundland. So I did like a fall reset program, kind of like what Ann Louise, the fat flush, and all of that money I sent to Newfoundland and to help rebuild it. And so I that's one thing that I've definitely learned, is always to give back. I mean, we learn it like Perry, you and I know it from the coaching that we've been in.
Mm-hmm.
And I have for sure over the years working with Bob Proctor, but it was, again, an unconscious competent thing. Like the more that you give, like it'll just come back to you tenfold. And that's always been number one. So I learned that definitely opening up the gym, because I didn't always operate that way. Whenever I had the horse farm, I didn't think in that way. So that certainly shifted, and it benefited, so many people. And, it's just a sense of community. Like I really wanted to build a safe space where people weren't judged. One of our sayings is every body is welcome here. And you know how, I don't know, did you ever watch that movie, Meryl Streep, The Devil Wears Prada?
I
Do you
have.
know that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to recollect it, but I have, yes.
So anyway, and so I always make a joke that, whenever you come here, it's not like the devil is wearing, Lululemon or something like that. Like it's all, everybody's welcome here.
Oh, that's good.
And yeah, so great friendships have been formed here. It certainly saved a lot of people. Like this was a safe haven for them to come, and if they were in abusive relationships, or just struggling with their own mental health. So it's been quite a safe spot for many people in the community. So I'm so grateful for that. And of course, everyone's getting fit, we're having fun. And yeah, so those are, I would say those were the biggest lessons that I learned, especially the giving back one.
That is really, really cool. And no doubt the relationships you build over the years, just getting, because you're more of like a boutique type of fitness center, where you can, I would guess a lot more of those relationships would flourish in an environment like that. Not that it couldn't in other places as well, but
Mm-hmm.
ones where you can have that intimate impact on that. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Very, very neat. So this so as you're going along, I mean, are you like how are you personally growing? It's like they're like shifts in mindset, or just constantly growing and just saying, you know what, how can I grow more? How can I be more? Whatever, however you want to word that.
Okay. That's a perfect question, because it's tying into exactly what's happening right now in the gym business, right?
Okay.
January, New Year's
Mm.
resolutions, and boom, everybody's flooding the gates. Um, so I've been in the fitness industry for over 40 years, right? I started whenever I was 18, whenever we wore the G-strings on the outside of our pants. Remember that? And the leg warmers and the whole, like I was that, I was that fitness instructor
I don't know
18.
how this 29-year-old who's talking to me can remember back that far, but amazing.
Yeah. So throughout that journey and working with, a lot of people over the years, and you know this too, Perry, is that, you work with somebody and they get all of the results that they're desiring, and you're there as their cheerleader, you're there as their accountability partner, and beautiful relationships are formed out of this, that. And then it's time to set them free, or circumstance change or whatever, and 6 months later you see them, they're right back where they started. And I saw this over and over and over again. And I would be so frustrated with myself, because not so much them. I put it all on me. And you and I both know responsibility for and responsibility to. So I was, responsible for their results. So I was taking it all on me. And I'm thinking, man, what's wrong with me? How come I can't get this message across? Am I not like leading by example? Like, what's going on with me? and I just couldn't figure out that missing piece. And then it was whenever I got into the work with Bob Proctor, it was so that's about 4 or 5 years ago, that I started to understand that there's nothing wrong with them, or there's nothing wrong with me. It's their program. They're set at a certain point. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about this, right? So they were doing all the right things, coming to the gym, drinking the water, cutting down on the carbs, whatever the doing was for them to get their results. And that was adding a little bit of willpower, but their program was still set for here. So they were still set for 63. Yeah, they raised the temperature to 83. Mm-hmm. But if your set point's here, bam, you got to go back down. So this is what was happening. Their program right here kept pulling them down, like, no, you're not 83, you're 63. Come on back. And it was through understanding that process, is that before you do the doing things like going to the gym, drinking the extra water, all of the things that you need to be doing or should be doing, you have to work on the set point first, and that's the mindset. So what is your program that's running the show? I've been down this rodeo before, lose the weight, gain the weight. So that's the program. Even though their results are here, this program is running and running. Well, it's only going to last for so long. You've done this before, lose the weight, gain the weight, boom. Oh, you've done this before, you've exercised a lot, and now you're a couch potato. That's the program. So if you think about it, right, there's this program that's just like running in the background, like in the computer, and bam, you keep falling back to it. And Perry, you and I had a beautiful conversation about that formula, right? Mm-hmm. Which is big in the diet industry, and it's big in the fitness industry. And they are keeping you at the set point. Mm-hmm. Because, look at it's multi-billion-dollar industries, right? So they're telling you, do all of these things with the eating, do all of these things with joining our gym, do all these things, and then you will have the results. So think about their marketing. You'll have, the genes that fit, you'll have the popularity, you'll have, picking up your grandkids, whatever, however marketing that they're, imprinting into your subconscious, and then you will be happy. So and then everyone's thinking like, what's wrong with me? Because I can't be happy because I'm doing all these things and I'm having this, and then I'm going to be happy. And then I get the same result over and over again. So it leaves people thinking that there's something wrong with them. And there's not.
Over and over and over and
Thank
over.
You.
Yeah.
And Perry and I had a wonderful discussion a few weeks ago, and how you flip that formula. And it's also we study it in our mindset group that we're both in together. So we flip the formula. So it's be. So no matter where you are right now, anyone who's listening, where you are right now, if you're not in your ideal health, that's fine. Be in your mind like I was when I was visualizing a healthy body. Whenever I was diagnosed with cancer, I was already in my imagination that healthy person. Even though the results were not there, I started to be that person first in my mind. So think about it for yourself. So be that person who goes for a walk every day. Be that person that water is something that's non-negotiable. Be that person that loves exercise, and exercise isn't a punishment, it's a privilege. All of these, so you build the self-image or the character of you in your ideal health. And then do the thing. So what would somebody in the goal, what would they be doing? And then you have it. Mm-hmm. So that's the formula that you want to work on first before you even walk through a gym door, or even before you sign up for a health coach, or even before you're going to embark on this journey. First, you must be it in your imagination, and then and feel it. Not just, okay, this is a pretty picture, but you've got to feel it. Perry and I both know feeling is the secret. Then everything will start to come with you. The right people are going to cross your path. The right incidents are going to happen, circumstances. So, and that's what I would suggest to people. I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, get on this diet or do this exercise program. No. Yeah. Start here first.
Yeah. And what Leanne's saying, it's so true. And that was the missing piece for me as well. Not only, I probably unconsciously did that as I got going as well, but as a coach and mentoring people, it was like, that was the essential thing. And I am going to say, and I think Leanne would agree here, is this takes practice. This is just like developing a muscle in the gym. It's not like, hey, I imagined that a couple weeks ago. Why isn't this sticking? You've got to revisit often. And I think the more you practice it, the more clarity you have, the more dynamic the feeling is as you're going. And that what seems to be elusive having or being happy, with the like I'll be happy when you're being that now, those things start to accelerate, the things that you're desiring a lot faster. But a lot of times it was the hoops to jump through, and it just seemed like, people would always say, I just got to get my mind right. I just got to do it. I just do it. But there's a tagline that should happen before that, is that just be it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you shared that. That's huge here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Big takeaway. Gosh, man, people just got $1 million episode here. That's awesome. That's a good coaching session. No, it was great.
Yeah. I just be it.
Yeah.
Just be it.
Just be it. Maybe we can talk to Nike about that. See if we can get on their panel. The new
we're gonna do it ourselves.
The new Just Be It campaign. You're right.
Yeah, just be it. Yeah.
Just be it. Oh man, thank you for sharing that. I think I actually know people, as you're looking at, we're moving in as of this recording. I mean, you might be watching this in the middle of August. I have no idea, or listening, but wherever you are in your journey, it's to go within first, and to really use the strategies and the blueprint that Leanne just laid out for you. I think that's brilliant. And you know what I've done? Here's the thing that I did, Leanne. I've kind of approached things when it came to, oh yeah, I'm not sure about this mindset stuff. A lot of times I noticed that my old programming lots of times is like this little resistance thing. Like, well, I'm not sure just because I haven't experienced it yet. So I'm like, oh, I don't know if that really works. I will test things out for like 30 days just to start. And was like, I don't know, this vegetable thing. I don't know if I like vegetables. I hated them all my life. Oh, wait a minute. That might be a program. Let me test it out for the next 30 days. Within like a couple of weeks, I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I been missing out on? you know? So those sort of things. And obviously this is a longer play than 30 days, but it's showing up for yourself each day that way, in your mind, in your body, in your soul, So
Yeah. 100%. I love that. I love that one. Just try it out for 30 days.
it's
That's
like,
so good. I'm going to
I'm just
borrow
gonna be
that one. Thank
just
you.
gonna test it out for 30 days, you know. And I don't even look at it as like this is like a little free trial. Sometimes people look at like January was their trial month, but seriously, it's should you choose to be diligent and persistent and being honest with yourself for daily for the next 30 days, shifts will begin to happen.
Yeah.
Or at least what I love is the opportunity to become aware of when you're looking for an escape hatch and trying to get yourself off the hook, coming
Yeah.
up with an excuse, coming up with another reason. A lot of times we program ourselves to wear this busy badge. So what does the universe do? It says, well, gosh, you keep saying we're busy. I guess we should be busy, and we don't have time for these extra things. And so I just find that like, well, I'm going to, when you're aware, you can do something about it. Not always, sometimes you can be unconsciously aware of things, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So thank you for that. And any other input on that?
Oh, okay. So then here's the 3-step process. Like you
Oh
just
yeah.
said, try it out for 30 days. So let's go one step further with that. I love that. So in those 30 days, being radically honest with yourself, right? And you just become aware, like, oh, that's interesting. I just caught myself. Like I didn't have vegetables all my life. Like, okay. There, so you become aware of the program. And then number 2, you start to question it. Like, is this really true? Like, really, let's just try it out for 30 days. So you begin to question what you become aware of. And then the third part is the creation. So what's the polar opposite? Like you said, oh my gosh, vegetables, awesome. What have I been missing out on all my life?
Mm-hmm.
So you start to create, so you start to be, right? That's how being, creating a new self-image, creating that new set point. So you go from, what did I say, 63 to 83. So now you're creating 83. And what Perry just said is the 3-step process. Okay, try it out for 30 days. Aware, become aware, begin to question, and then create. Create your being. And then you too shall have.
Yeah. And how many things in life can we apply this to? That's beautiful. I mean, we're talking health and fitness stuff, but relationships, career,
business,
business, so many things. But yeah, I love that. Thank you for breaking that down. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Man, well, I look forward to hearing anybody that listened to this to come back and let us know what you discovered about yourself. Because I love the 30 days. And when I approach 30 days, actually, like when I'm approaching 21 days and I'm getting my groove, I'm like, now what's next? Now what's next? Because it's not, we talked a little bit about the diet stuff here, and I'm very aware now that a lot of times people get on something to get off of it when it comes to the dieting sort of thing. It's like, oh, this little temporary thing. And so you got to catch yourself there, because there's a reason why you're wanting the health, though you're wanting to be. And if this is a lifelong, to see where things are going to go, to have those opportunities show up, and those, a much different life, then you've got to embrace beyond 30, right? So
Yeah.
there's always
It,
something next.
it becomes your transformation, right? And then
Mhm.
that becomes your new set point. And when you finally gone through all of the steps of transformation, like true transformation, you will never go back. And that's the difference between change and transformation. I'm going to change these habits. Change has an underlying energy of, I could go back to the set point. Whereas transformation, it's a different energy. You're never going back to that set point again.
Brilliantly said. Yeah, that's, I often tell people, way back when I was a 2-pack a day smoker, I don't go back to that anymore. That was somehow breathing became important, so there was a motivator there. But anyway, so what other things are you? I mean, I so appreciate you coming on here today and sharing your words of wisdom and your experience and your story. Is there anything else that you'd love to share, or some things that you're working on, or where people can find more about Leanne Monaghan?
Oh, well, there's a lot of great things that are coming, especially if you're in Canada right now. I'm actually very honored to be part of Preventative Health Care Awareness Month. And it's professionals, like healthcare professionals from all across Canada, have come together to help Canadians raise their awareness that, maybe focus on prevention as opposed to waiting till something happens and then you get into the medical system. And it's a brilliant movement that it's just starting, and it's in its grassroots infancy stage. It launches February 1st, but I know anyone could be watching this at any different time. And yeah, I'm very honored and privileged to be part of that and offering my expertise in all four of the categories: mindset. I do meditations with groups of people 3 times a week at least, and how to move your body. I don't say fitness, I say, how do you move your body? It's a different experience in your 20s, and I'm, heading towards 60 now. So it's a different experience about how you move your body through different phases of your life, and also how to nourish your body. It's not like what Perry and I are talking about diets. It's like, how do you nourish your body? It's a different energy again, right? Oh, I can't have gluten. But it's like, you feel the difference there, Perry? Like, how do I nourish my body?
Yeah,
Nourish it.
definitely. Totally different vibe.
It's a totally different vibe, right?
Yeah.
And so just offering my expertise to help other people, because I mean, I've been given such a gift, right? I mean, it's been through a lot of times, hitting rock bottom. The road hasn't been paved nice and smoothly, but it's how you look at what some people would call tragedy or trauma, or you just flip it around, and then you help other people. So that's one thing that I'm working on, and just building what I have here at the clinic, and helping with the group coaching, private coaching. I have the new business, the Wealthy Academy, WELL, Wealthy Academy.
Love that.
And yeah, so and I'm just, what, at this stage of my life, it's about building a legacy and having fun,
Love
helping
that.
others,
Fun.
just having fun with it all, right? I mean, how do you, okay, you're the interviewer and I'm asking you the questions now. So funny. But
The script is flipped.
the
No.
script has flipped. I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm the podcaster here. So then, Perry, how do you feel about it? Because you and I, we've been on this rodeo of fitness for a while, and the whole diet. We've been through, some stuff in life and we've turned it around. So like at this point in your career, how are you, what's your mindset around it?
Yeah, you nailed it today with the be, do, and have. And
Okay.
I think a lot of the mindset stuff and being, um, kind of just going back to where I started, where I felt stuck, and going, gosh, I don't know that I would have embraced it. Like, oh, if I'd have known this before I started, it would have made things easier. But it was kind of that unconscious awareness of, first of all, taking responsibility for where I was at in life and just saying, as opposed to looking for some sort of quick fix,
Mm-hmm.
um, which I was, because it's like, oh, can I just undo all these unhealthy things I've done real quickly, just because I'm done with them? I want them to just go away. But a lot of times with the quick fix doesn't come with any learning, any lesson, anything, any growth, that can really keep you the momentum going forward. And so what I love about the being part, and a lot of times it's going into that imagination. What is your thinking? What are the things that person, the ideal vision that you have, what do they do? How do they think? And you start being that now. And granted, we know that sometimes when you're just starting out, there's some exercise that can be rather humbling. But
Yeah.
and there's effort and time that goes in there. But it was a shift in mindset for me to say, but I'm excited to see where I'm at, and where I'm going. And I'm not turning back. It's kind of, I guess, that like that burn the boat sort of thing.
Yeah.
Although there was times, there were moments that life likes to give you the opportunity to come on back into this comfort zone. And I often think of the comfort zone. The comfort zone is very, very temporary because it gets uncomfortable real quick. So it's taking action on that. But for me, it was exactly what you had said. It was, in order to flip the script, there's going to be these moments and opportunities to catch yourself and do something proactive about it to keep moving forward, or to get complacent and go back. And I know where I've already been there. I'm excited to see what's next. And so started adopting that. And then as you're going, you get stronger. You get, and I won't say that I've arrived. It's just another level of awareness that,
Yeah.
okay, now I'm excited to see what's next. Where can I go with this? I learned some really amazing things from you today. And like, oh, that just the giving back to the communities and things like that. It's like, you know what, I can do more there. So it's just sometimes it's hearing somebody's story that can inspire you to
Mm-hmm.
take that next level. So I don't know if that answered your question, but it was, just one of the things that I see with the industry was getting away from the infomercial, the before and afters.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm sure that's appealing to some people, and that, I know it intrigued me at the beginning, showing you what's possible. But so many times people can be shown what's possible, but until that inner game is shifted, it's
Yes.
it's becomes on again, off again. And I saw one stat one time that people will start their journey again like 4 times in a year. And I don't know if it's like exactly spread out equally, but it will be, I'm all in on January 2nd, January 3rd, whatever, and then, okay, well, it's maybe February's better, or spring break. And then I'll have more time in the summer. Oh, I was a teacher for 21 years. We had those 3 months that we were off, and a lot of teachers that I would look to serve and help. I'll have more time when summer comes, and then I would talk to them after summer. How'd it go? I didn't get quite started. It was this when you're saying that you're busy all the time, until you decide to take responsibility for it and take control of that, of how you're thinking about it, there will always be something to replace that busy. When you get a free moment, it doesn't happen. You'll replace it. So anyway, those are some of my thoughts on it.
Yeah, beautifully said. Beautifully said. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So where can people find, you already said, what did you give a little website or where people can learn more about?
No, actually, I didn't. There's 3 places that you can
Three
find me. Like
places.
well,
Okay.
yeah,
You gave 3 tips. Here comes 3 places.
that's right. So staying alive fitness, staying
Staying
alive.
Alive Fitness.
Yeah, we're in the era, right? And staying alive wellness clinic, or just my name, Leanne Monaghan, and it comes up.
Excellent. You know
Yeah.
what? I will put those in the show notes. I'm pointing as if you are scrolling down and looking at the show notes right now in the description. But we'll get those links in there for you. And Leanne, it's really, really such an honor to have you on here. Any other final thoughts that you're like, oh, I'm just dying to share this, or
Okay. This is what I want to leave everybody with. All right. There is nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with Perry. There's nothing wrong with me when you're in these patterns. There is nothing wrong with you. It's just your programming. It's just your programming. And to become aware of it, to question it, and to create something new, the sky's the limit. It truly is.
well said. I would say mic drop, but then I would lose my audio. So I'm going to leave the microphone right here. Thank you so much for being a guest on here today. You delivered such great value. It was great to hear your story. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Leanne.
Thank you too. Thank you. It's been my honor, Perry. Thank you.
That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.